Welcome back to another episode. My name is Martin, and in today's episode we have come to our local tackle shop in the city of Santa Maria. Been there, caught that, and we're gonna go in and see if we can't get some recommendations on some beginner rock fishing essentials. We're gonna take a look around and just check out some stuff. The shop owner, Fernando, he's actually a little busy right now, so when he comes out we'll get some recommendations from him. I was wondering if you can help me out with the video.
Sure.
All right, so let's pretend that I have never gone rock fishing before, and I came in first timer, and you know, I don't know what to get, so if you can help us get from, you know, rods to reels, baits and stuff, and I need some squid anyway, so so let's pretend yeah, let's start.
So what are we doing? Are we fishing off the rocks, or are we fishing off a boat?
We're fishing off the rocks.
Fishing off the rocks, okay. So with that, spinning or casting?
Let's go spinning.
Spinning, okay.
Cool if I lower this real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
We might get a copyright strike.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right, so with the rods.
Okay, so with the rods, from a 9-foot to a 12-foot, what I like for fishing off the rocks, if, you know, I'm up off bluffs and all that. If I'm standing sea level and all of that, standing on the rocks, you could use something a little bit different, a little bit lighter rod, because you're not lifting the fish from so high, you know, where these thinner rods aren't meant to do deadlift so much, where these longer rods or heavier rods, you can do more deadlifting from 10, 15, 20 feet up, you know. So yeah, going with that. Spinning rod, something off of you know, a flat surface of the rocks. Could use something like this. This is a little bit heavier rod, so this one's a little bit shorter. This is 7-11. If you're doing something like that, you know, you could use something like this is on your smaller side. Going bigger, you could use a Rockaway, a Kuma Hawaiian, you know. Yeah,
actually today when I took my uncle rock fishing off the rocks, we weren't expecting to catch halibut, but we ended up catching a halibut. Yeah. I think I have a medium heavy 10-foot Rockaway is what I was using.
So something like that. This is the Rockaway. This is the 10-foot medium heavy. You can get away with that because you're throwing a little bit lighter baits, you know, swim baits, jerk baits, stuff like that. And then you can fish this if you wanted to do bait and weight up to 3 ounces with it, you know.
Got it.
You'd be able to do that with this.
Okay. And then reels.
Reels. All right. So for reels, there's a whole different assortment of reels. It's what you're comfortable with, how much line capacity that you want to use. You know, typically I don't use more than, you know, 30 or 40 pound braid, you know, and you're not casting it out a mile or anything like that. So a couple of really good options that I do have here is this Quantum Strive right here. This is the 4,000 Strive right there, and here's the 4,000 benchmark.
And that's the one we got.
Yep, very good reels, fully sealed for the water and all of that. Great economical reel for what they've got right there on that, you know. Something bigger, if you wanted to go bigger, you could go a little bit bigger. I wouldn't go more bigger than like a 5,000. Let's see. There's a 5,000. So if you're going more up off the cliffs, need a little more line capacity and all of that, you'd be able to use that too right there.
Let's go hooks, weights, baits.
Okay, let's do that. So we'll start with the lures first, right? Fishing off the rocks, you want to target halibut. We got the Battlestar, the weighted hooks. These work good. These are your little bit longer hook, the 5-0s, as well as we've got the 2-0s that are a little bit shorter. So the difference between those two, if you want to use a 5-inch bait or you want to use a 3-inch bait or something a little bit smaller, as well as jerk baits. We're low on stock on that, but we got plenty of jerk baits that you'd be able to throw off of some of this stuff too, off of a lower level, sea level off the rocks. The Battlestars are good. We got some of the IMAs, Lucky Crafts, Kalisas, and all of that. So as far as the plastics for these, we'll go show you these over here too. We've got the Battlestar rib baits.
That's what we were throwing today too.
Yep.
The white ones with the Battlestar weighted 1/2 ounce.
Yep. These are. It's a fire color. I'm out of the white. I gotta put them up on the shelf. But that black and silver is good too.
Yeah, that's a new color. Haven't gotten some of those yet.
Yep. And then if you wanted to use the smaller ones, I got some more Battle Stars that are coming too that are the 3-inch, but I have some of these other ones. These are rib paddle tails as well too. You could use those. The whites, the peppered colors, the bluish tint to them. Those work good for targeting halibut and rockfish, you know. And then you rig this weedless so that you can fish it in the rocks and not get stuck so much. You can rip it through the kelp and all of that, and you're kind of good with that. So yeah, that's what we got for the lure side. Baited weight style, there's, you know, a few different ways you could rig this. You could do a high-low rig, like a 3-0 hook. Something like this is a snelled hook, comes with line on it. So you could do a high-low rig, sinker on the bottom, and this maybe a foot above your sinker, so that it hangs real low to the ground. Another way that you could fish this is with the Carolina rig with the real short leader, egg sinker and all that. But for that, I would use a different style of hook. I would not, you could use the snelled, but I prefer making my own. So with something like that, you just get a hook and tie it onto your line, make your own line, and do it that way too.
You know, most people, you know, they always try to make things simple.
Yeah.
And so they always, remember when I first started, this is what, you just get one of these and just make it simple.
It is. That is the simplest, easiest way to do it, you know. Typically, if your hook gets stuck, that'll snap off. You're able to tie another one on, or your sinker or whatever, you're able to tie on real quick and easy, and it does pretty good, you know. And we got the sinkers. So fishing off the rocks, if you're gonna do Carolina rig, egg sinker. If not, I really like the rock areas to use a torpedo sinker, 3 or 4 ounce sinker, because for me, it seems like these don't get stuck as much compared to, you know, a pyramid or, you know, the other style. These tend to get stuck really easy for me, you know, where these ones will slip out a little bit easier.
Got it. And we'll take actually a couple of those. We'll take 2 4s.
So here's rock cod rigs too. There's some people that have used this. I prefer to only use 1 hook. You can use 2. But now that's a double chance of getting stuck on something and all of that. So I like to use 1. So if I lose 1, I'm only losing 1 hook, you know, and less probability of getting stuck on something, you know. So yeah. And
then you guys got squid. We saw that post the other day.
So yeah, we'll go up over here. This is a nice little treat to have something like this, you know. People to be able to experience and use it. I think that makes a really big difference, you know, having this fresh dead squid. Because we got these packs of squid right here. As you can see, there's still ink in them and all of that. And these are about 7 to 8 inch pieces of squid that are in there.
Okay, where do you get these?
This is from Santa Rosa Island.
Okay.
Yep. It's a local commercial fisherman that we get this stuff from, and yeah, it's locally caught.
Where I remember when I first started getting into rock fishing, you know, our go-to was always Food Max.
Yeah.
You get that little 3-pound box or whatever. What's the difference between the 3-pound box and this fresh from Santa Rosa?
So it's time that it's been frozen. Some of this stuff, you don't know how long it's been, you know. This stuff just, it already looks a little bit different.
It looks a little pale.
It's different. So when this stuff will thaw out, you tend to get it clears up a little bit, you know, where this stays really white. This will stay a little bit clearer. And the whole process of what they use in the facilities, I'm not 100% sure if they use bleach or whatever, the process in processing it to put it in the boxes and stuff like that, you know. So this is raw and uncut.
Okay, yeah. Take a bag of that. What else? I'm trying to think. Line. I know you said about, you know, you're using your main braid, what, 30-40 pound.
Yep.
And let's go. What do you think about leader line? I think most times I I mainly use anywhere from like 40 pound to some even 50 pound.
Yeah, you can. So for me on the rock fishing thing is, when I go rock fishing out there, I count on I'm gonna lose stuff and I'm gonna break stuff, you know.
That's just the game.
It's just the game. It's part of it. So make sure, you know, if you're fishing braid, you take an extra spool of line so that you got it, because you're gonna have to be tying on, making rigs and all that to go fishing. So yeah, 30-40 pounds good, you know. You can even use 20 pound, you know, but having something at least, you know, 25-30 pound,
so you don't snap off.
So you don't snap off so easy, because you're casting out a heavier sinker. Or if you do get a fish and it gets stuck in the rocks, you know, you can put some force on them to get them out from in the rocks sometimes, you know. And you figure down there in the rocks is just like how it is on shore. These rocks are sharp and all of that. Where mono line is a lot more abrasion resistant than your regular braided line. Your braided line, if it hits the rocks, it's gonna cut a lot easier than the mono line will. The mono will take a lot more beating before it wants to break and all that stuff. So that's why I like to use that stuff on that.
Got it. And then I don't think I need line, but that's pretty much the logistics of it, right?
Yeah,
just,
that's pretty much it, you know.
Hooks, weights, squid, your line.
Yeah,
that's all you need.
Yeah,
pretty basic.
Yeah,
and it's really easy. It's like one of the most easiest.
It is. And then the way I see it, if I don't catch something in 20 minutes, I'm moving, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go try to find another little spot, cast it in a different spot or something. It takes time, of course, you know. It's fishing, you know, but move around a little bit if you're not catching nothing, you know.
Yeah, I know. Like I'll let a bait soak for like 10-15 minutes, and if no bites or nothing, then just cast in a different spot or move. So
absolutely,
yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys are interested, you guys can get a custom wrap. I think Fetty's not here today.
Fetty's not here. Yep.
Yeah, but you guys can get, you know, custom wrap, and I believe he did some hook keepers for Edward. You know, you break one of the eyes of the hook. He can pretty fix it. Repairs. So all your fishing needs, and are here at Been There Caught That. The place looks nice. You guys had a grand opening back in October, so yeah, freaking looks gorgeous in here. We have made it down to the rocks. I'm exploring a new area, and I see a lot of tide pools around, and so we're gonna explore those too, kind of see what's lurking in these waters, see if we can find some undercuts for some possible poling adventures in the future. So today's pretty much an explorer mission, but I use Google Maps like a mofo. So before I head to, you know, any fishing spot, and the spot looked just really looked too good not to try and find a way down. Luckily we did. The only way down, not too sketchy of a, really not bad of a hike down, but I got to see aerial view off the cliff that I'm looking at right now, and it looks really good. Tons of tide pools, a nice point that I don't know if I'll be able to get to, because there's like spots here and there where that point, it like cuts off. Look at all this rocks, look at all the tide pools, some life crawling underneath some rocks. We got some big mussels around, I see right there. Let's see if we can pull one out real quick, see if that one's a lively mussel. Oh, my feet are wet. Well, I'm wearing Crocs, so what? Oh yeah, if we need to use this for bait, we will. So that's the size of mussel right there that we're dealing with. We'll hang on to that for bait. And for bait, you know, we got the squid that we got from Been There Caught That, the day old from Santa Rosa Islands. So that's what we're gonna start with pretty much everything basic, the hooks, the line. Got some more mussels right here. So if we ever need some bait, there's bait around. I was looking at Navionics just to see what it looked like under the water that I, you know, can't see, and it looks pretty sandy. So this is a possible, you know, surf area too that we might try and target in the future. You got a little crab right there. My guy's a little angry, but yeah, we're just gonna take a look around and then fish for an hour or two, throwing straight bait today. We can even use the crabs out here for bait. Surprisingly, they don't have too much area in just that spot that I've explored so far to hide under, so they're easily catchable instead of like a ton of like nicks and crannies that they can easily crawl into that you can't reach your hand in and grab one. But we're starting to get, that's the start of the point right there, and it goes about 100 yards. But like I said, there's some spaces in between, so I don't think we'll be able to make it to the actual point. Maybe we'll hit the base of it, but I can see some halibut chilling in here. My feet would get wet regardless if I just brought my shoes out here, so I guess kind of a good thing that I brought Crocs today, that I could step in the water. But we're gonna see how far we can get on the point before it starts to get a little sketchy for me to jump from rock to rock. Is that an abalone show? Oh yeah, check that out. Or wait, what is this? I'm pretty sure it's an abalone shell, right? Wow, I've never seen one like alive. It's currently, I believe, right before peak low tide, which is a negative 0.4. So once we get all set up and stuff, we'll be at, you know, incoming tide on the very low tide. Tons of grass around. That's a good sign for some eels. Have yet to find an undercut to stick a pole into. Definitely some spots that, you know, rockfish can hide in some grass. Whoa, check that out. Some nice starfish, but after that, tons of uni, some sea urchin. Not huge ones, but there's a ton of them. Just in this little cave area. Oh my gosh. There's a buttload of them. Wow. Just hugging the edge of this rock right here. Down in this corner too. Oh my gosh, this is just like loaded. Look at all that. Loaded. Actually, those are some pretty nice ones right there. But just absolutely loaded. See, this is what I'm talking about. How there's some spaces in between this oh my god, this actually looks good to throw swim baits down there in between these rocks. But that's a good, I don't know, 5 feet split, and it kind of goes right there, or it kind of goes along the rest of this right there. It's just split, so I kind of want to get right there, but I don't know, maybe we can hop down there, hop to there. I don't think we can hop to that rock, but I want to cast right there. We might have to just cast from here, which is cool. We can make that cast, but look in between that looks so freaking juicy. If you just toss like a little Kayak or something down there, I'm sure something will swim out. I was thinking about jumping from there to there, but that's just way too sketchy, so I think I'm gonna just fish off this solo rock right here, try to cast after that breaker wave. I think this is the most awkwardest spot that I've ever like had to sit down and tie up, but our leader, we're gonna go arm's length. It's pretty calm today. I'm gonna cut that off, and then we're gonna tie a dropper loop. just like that. And then at one end of the leader line, we're gonna tie a barrel swivel, and at the other end, we're gonna tie a weight. So we got our main line right here tied to our barrel swivel, tied to the other end of the leader. Bottom end, we have our weight. Right in the middle, we have that dropper loop that we tied. We're gonna take our snell knot, fit the hook right through the loop that we made, and then you're gonna see this little loop at the snell knot. Stick that through the hook, or stick the hook through the snell knot to where you have your dangling rig just below the weight, and then just hook on your bait. Oh! Shoot. Okay, so we're in a bad situation right now. I have a fish on. It's snagged on this rock right here. The fish is literally on the other side. I can see my weight, but there's like some muscles that it like snagged up on. A pretty heavy fish. Yeah, it's snagged. But the fish is on there, it's just on the other side of it. So I'm gonna have to climb from there to there, to over there, to over there. Oh my God, okay, that worked. That worked, okay. Okay, this is a good fish too. Woo! Okay, we're almost halfway there. Okay. Oh no, how are we gonna do this? Okay, so there's a big gap from here to there, there to there, there to there, there to there. Oh shoot, I don't know if I can get this. Oh shoot. Yeah, I don't think I can get this because that's way too deep. I'd have to swim from there to there. Oh man, I don't want to lose this fish. Man, I feel so bad. got some cuts on my feet from the sharp rocks, mussels and all that. I spent like 30-45 minutes just trying to find a nice wave to swim from rock to rock, and every time I like had a split second where I can, I just had this hesitation, this just being a little scared of a sneaker wave behind, like a little wave, and then pulling me, pushing me around, bouncing off rocks, and I don't want that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I have to go back home to my family. And, you know, ain't no fish ain't worth, you know, risking your life over. But my weight's right there. And also the tide's coming in. See, that wave just crashed way over that rock. And then all this is washing in. That's my crossing lane. And that's like a foot, 2 feet deep right there. And just as the tide is coming in, my access back and forth ain't worth it. I don't know. We're gonna re-rig and try for another one. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. It just sucks because that was a good fish. That, I didn't get to see what it was, but it's either a really large, some type of rock cod or a possible ling cod. And if it's a ling cod, it would have been my first for sure. But it hurts that I can't really do nothing. Like I don't want to risk my life trying to go for a fish that, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Ooh. Woo! There we go. There we go. Woo! That's some redemption right there. That's some redemption right there. There's a little ledge down there. Okay. This guy's about 16 and a half, 17 incher. And that's how you do it right there. A nice cabezon. This guy's like a reddish brown color. Good tasting fish. And we're gonna end it on this. I'm torn apart about that fish right there. That one's probably, if it's a cabezon, it's an even bigger one. But I hope that with the tide coming in, you know, waves are still crashing over it. I'm hoping that some way like the fish will break loose if it hasn't already, and you know, go back into the water. But unfortunate that I broke off with the fish on the other side of that rock. I'm just hoping that somehow, some way, he goes back into the water, because right now it looks even more dangerous than it was earlier. But we got a nice, healthy, meaty. He got some I don't feel no hardness in his stomach, so he might have just been hungry. And I threw on a full squid. But beautiful, good tasting rockfish. So we'll end it there. I would like to thank Fernando for, you know, kind of going through us throughout the store and kind of giving us the rockfish 101 from catching rockfish from shore, the basics of what you need. So you know, thank you, Fernando. Visit Been There Caught That in our local tackle shop in the city of Santa Maria. I'll link the address right here, as well as the link in the description. While you're there, you can pick up a Been There Caught That hoodie. I would like to fish a little more, but I got my youngest brother's birthday today, so we're we're celebrating that. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, we'll see you on the next episode. Peace.